We got options, options, options. I got about 100 cars, but right here, we like to call this the Sweet 16. Lambo, Ferrari, Ferrari.
Floyd Mayweather built a garage specifically for his black luxury cars. Not a regular garage, not a shared space, an entire dedicated structure just for the fleet. And for a long time, that image was the whole brand. Undefeated in the ring, untouchable with the money. The man who allegedly made more in one night than most people see in a lifetime, and spent accordingly, loudly, and without apology. But the internet is spiraling right now because the full picture of where things stand financially for Pretty Boy Floyd in 2025 looks nothing like that garage. And the gap between the image and the reality is the kind of story that people cannot stop talking about because it touches something almost universal, the difference between looking like money and actually having it secured. Let's lay it all out, because the details here are staggering when you put them side by side. Floyd Mayweather allegedly owes the IRS $7.3 million in unpaid taxes. Not a small discrepancy, not a paperwork issue. $7 million in taxes that reportedly were not paid while the black car fleet was growing and the spending was operating at a level that made even other rich people raise their eyebrows. And simultaneously, a court has ordered him to pay over $933,000 in back child support, plus $32,000 every single month going forward. That monthly number alone is not a small commitment. That is a financial obligation that requires consistent, substantial income just to stay current, let alone catch up on what is allegedly already owed. But what fans notice next is where things really get interesting, because layered on top of the IRS situation and the child support order is a lawsuit that Floyd himself filed against a former business partner. And the number at the center of that lawsuit is the one that his people genuinely shook: $175 million. That is allegedly how much Floyd claims this business partner took from him. Not borrowed, not mismanaged, took. Word on the street is that this lawsuit represents what fans believe may be the most significant financial wound in the entire situation, because if that number is even partially accurate, it reframes everything else. The tax debt, the child support arrears, all of it starts to look less like reckless spending and more like the aftermath of allegedly being betrayed by someone on the inside. Now, let's be clear about who Floyd Mayweather is in the context of this story, because the numbers only land correctly when you understand the scale of what he built. Reportedly, Floyd generated over $1 billion in career earnings across his boxing career, a figure that almost no athlete in any sport has matched at the individual level. The Pacquiao fight alone allegedly generated revenues that would fund small countries. He was not just successful, he was historically, generationally successful. The industry machinery around his brand was one of the most lucrative personal enterprises in sports entertainment history. TMT, the money team, was not just a nickname, it was a business model and a whole lifestyle architecture that attracted sponsors, partners, and allegedly, people looking to access that proximity to enormous wealth. And that last part is where this gets complicated. Because allegedly, when you are operating at that level of cash flow and visibility, the gatekeeping around your finances becomes both more important and more difficult. The people who get close enough to manage that kind of money are not randomly selected, they come recommended, they come with credentials, they come with history. And reportedly, that is exactly how someone could allegedly walk away with $175 million before the alarm bells started ringing loudly enough to stop them. Fans are saying this situation is one of the clearest examples of a pattern that has taken down some of the wealthiest athletes and entertainers in history: the gap between earning at an extraordinary level and having the infrastructure to protect what you earn at that same level. Floyd's spending was not a secret. The black car garage was not a rumor. It was a documented, photographed, celebrated reality that became part of his public identity. Spending like that, at that velocity, allegedly requires either an uninterrupted pipeline of income or an extremely disciplined financial architecture running quietly in the background. People are saying that architecture may have had a very significant hole in it. The child support situation adds another layer that fans are dissecting loudly. $32,000 a month going forward, plus nearly $1 million in arrears. That is not a new obligation appearing out of nowhere. That is reportedly a legal accounting of what was allegedly owed and not paid over time, which means the financial pressure was building in multiple directions simultaneously. The IRS on one side, the family court system on another, and a business partner allegedly sitting on $175 million somewhere in the middle. The garage full of black luxury cars is still a striking image. And reportedly, Floyd still moves like the money is there because that is also part of the brand, part of the psychology of wealth maintenance at that level. But the internet has done the math publicly, and the math is sending a very clear message. Spending like a billionaire and being one are two completely different disciplines. Allegedly, Floyd mastered one of them at an elite level for decades. Whether the other one got the same attention is now the question his lawyers, his accountants, and apparently a federal judge are all working to answer simultaneously. The comeback story here, fans believe, is still possible because Floyd has beaten longer odds in smaller spaces with less at stake than this. But the first round of this particular fight reportedly did not go his way. And the scorecards are public. What do you think? Does this change how you see Floyd Mayweather's legacy? Or is this just the messy middle of a story that ends with him back on top? Drop it in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe because we are tracking every move as this unfolds.